Watching, yes, the Yankees Entertainment and Sports Network.
Well, the buses arrived early this morning, taking the old-timers from Manhattan here to the Bronx, where they made that legacy. They all got cheers as they walked into the ballpark, ready to play a young man's game again. And once inside the ballpark, the cheers rained down. Recent vintage Yankees got the biggest cheers. Our very own Paul O'Neill and David Cohn, huge ovations. And then at the end, of course, the showstopper, Whitey Ford and Yogi Berra. It's time for baseball as Hyundai presents the Sunday game of the week. It's the New York Yankees against the Tampa Bay Rays in the final game of a four-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with David Cohn and Paul O'Neill, I'm Michael Kay. They've showered, they're ready for a game, and so are we. Following yesterday's ball game, the Yankees would like more of the same. And what they did was they won a ball game when Joe Girardi went to the bench and told Vernon Wells to go hit. And that hasn't worked for the last couple of months. It did yesterday.
Yeah, he has been struggling. There's no doubt about it. He's struggling to the point where he's been kind of replaced. Unbelievable. Big 97-mile-an-hour fastball, drives it in, three-run double, puts the Yankees ahead. One of the bigger hits he's had all year. The Yankees stole this game.
Well, the Yankees now will try to take 3 out of 4 against the Rays. We'll take a look at the New York Lottery pitching matchup. Chris Archer will go for the Rays, and Ivan Nova for the Yankees, 2-1, 5.16. David, it's hard to figure out Ivan Nova. He's got great stuff, but he hasn't pitched great all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, scouts look at Nova's stuff, and they light up. 95-mile-an-hour fastball. He's got good breaking stuff, both a slider and a curveball. And when he's on, he's on. But when he's not, this is what happens. Extra base hits. Not only extra base hits, a lot of home runs as well. Nova's got to learn how to manage his stuff, manage himself, and be able to get some quality starts while he gets a second opportunity.
So he gets called up from Scranton Wilkes-Barre to make the start. And you look at his numbers down there. They were outstanding. Yankees want more of the same. Yankees want more of the same from Zoilo Almonte. Boy, has he been great for the Yankees. He's in the lineup again, and we'll detail how good he's been when we return right here on Yes. Dormant, and then Zoilo Almonte stepped in. Look what he's done. 5 hits and 8 at-bats, 1 home run, 4 big ribbies, 2 runs scored, and shown really an amazing presence and almost unbelievable patience at the plate, especially for a rookie. The Yankees are hoping for more of the same. When we come back, it's time for the real game. Lineups, first pitch, baseball, Yankees against the Rays, right here on Yes. the new model year lineup at JaguarUSA.com. By Grown Ups 2 in theaters July 12th. And by the Experience Buick lease, it's a new lease on luxury. What a great Old Timers Day presentation by the New York Yankees, as some of the people that made this organization what it is came out on the field, had the wonderful time. The crowd loved it, and two of the guys that actually did participate, my partners in the broadcast booth for this game, Paul O'Neill and David Cohn. Let's check out the lineup that Ivan Nova is going to face, as put together by Joe Madden of the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays at 38 and 37. The DH is Matt Joyce. He leads off. Batting second, playing center, Desmond Jennings. Ben Zobrist at second will bat third. Cleaning up, third baseman Evan Longoria. James Loney at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing right field, Will Myers. Kelly Johnson left field will bat seventh. Batting eighth and catching, Jose Molina. And Yunel Escobar, the shortstop, will bat ninth. And it's going to be Ivan Nova on the mound for the Yankees.
Welcome back, Ivan Nova. He had a couple of good rehab starts, as we showed you in our pregame, and he's looking to capitalize on another opportunity here. And you see it's the strikeouts to walks, 10 to 26, and we're going to give you the pitcher scout report brought to you by your Tri-Honda dealer, and earn your spot in 3 starts at AAA Scranton before being recalled. He was 2-0 with a 2.04 ERA, and he had 17 Ks and 17 2/3 innings, and not in my house, and 5 career starts at home versus Tampa. He's 4-0 with a 1.83 ERA. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in all 5 starts. Pretty good matchup for him here today, and find the old form. He went 26-6 with a 4 ERA through the first 48 starts of his career, and in 18 starts since, he's 4-7 with a 6. So he's looking to turn it around.
All right, so they bring up Nova today. They send down Thomas Neal to make room on the roster. And when you ask Joe Girardi, well, what's next for Nova? He said, we will see. So let's see how he pitches in today's game, as the Yankees try to take 3 out of 4 from the Rays. Matt Joyce digs in. Nova takes a look around as the infield shifts to the right side. Nova's ready on the rubber. Gets the sign from Stewart. And let's do it here in the Bronx. First pitch is up and away, and we are underway.
Coney, I mean, you've been in a situation where you've been hurt and this and they're kind of messing with the rotation. Get into this guy's head. What's he think? I mean, am I fighting for a job here, or am I just coming back and it's here? I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right, Paulie. I mean, he kind of got humbled a little bit and put down in AAA after his rehab start and his injuries, and he's kind of been, he's got to earn his way back after having sort of, been given a spot in the rotation for a while. And he's got great stuff, no doubt about it, and he's going to keep getting opportunities. But a little competition might be a healthy thing for him right here, and even pitching well today might lead to another start up here, or it might not. So
line drive, a base hit to right field by Matt Joyce. Ichiro will get the ball in. A leadoff single for Joyce.
Well, in the past, when I see Nova get hit hard, his fastball gets up, he gets a little flat, and he can miss with the slider. That's a high fastball up in the zone. As a hitter, it gives you so much time to see the ball, and you see there's no sink on it when it gets that high. It's a good pitch to hit. Those are tough ones to get away with, huh, Cody?
Yeah, that's the thing, and he hasn't. Last year he led the major leagues in extra base hits allowed, so that's exactly to your point.
Desmond Jennings with a push bunt. Nova makes the play. A nice play by Nova to get the out at first, and moving to second is Joyce. Not scored a sacrifice, as Jennings was bunting for the hit.
You can see the athleticism. Nova's a good athlete. Paulie's 6'5". Scouts light up when they see a body like that on the mound and a guy with his kind of stuff. So it is a little bit of a mystery that somebody with this kind of stuff could struggle like he did a little bit. But
yeah, I mean, the start of his career, he built so much confidence, winning games, and it just, it is kind of a question mark. Here's a guy, great attitude, pitches hard. I mean, he's got great stuff. You just expect him to take the mound and give you a great opportunity to win every time. It just hasn't been that way.
They changed that scoring to a sacrifice bunt for Jennings.
I was just going to say, Jennings is going to be a little upset with that one. You move a guy over and then they give you an at-bat anyway.
The 1-0. Lined over the leaping try of Nix into left field. Joyce rounds third. He will score. Almonte gets the ball into second. An RBI single for Zobrist. And the Rays are on the board first.
Well, Zobrist has had a good series. And again, if you look at these pitches, Coney, a lot of the plate, not much movement on him. He's not going to throw the ball by him. He's always had good movement. And you see that's just kind of a tail. There's no downward movement. It just kind of goes across the plate. It makes it a good pitch for the guy to hit.
Well, if you see Stewart behind the plate, he got crossed up as well. So Stewart have a little talk with Nova. But if you watch how Stewart was going down for a breaking ball, he's lucky that Zobrist hit it. Or Stewart would have had no glove on that pitch.
Pitch inside to Longoria. We told you Thomas Neal was sent down to make room for Nova, and he tweeted out, "You either get it done or you don't." And I didn't, plain and simple. And the fact that Almonte did kind of made him expendable. You don't want to carry that many outfielders. Now the starting rotation going forward has Kuroda on Tuesday against the Rangers, Pettit Wednesday, and Hughes on Thursday. So Phil kind of pushed back after the doubleheader. See what Longoria has done in the series against the Yankees: 4 hits and 10 at bats, and 3 home runs. So throwing 95 miles an hour, but has fallen behind Longoria 3-0.
It's kind of nice. You know, Thomas Neal got 11 at bats, so can't be too hard on himself. He had a great year going to AAA, and I'm sure he'll get another opportunity, if not here, then somewhere.
It's kind of hard to judge a season on 11 at bats, especially when, you know, the first 4 or 5 of them are just getting accustomed to being up here.
There's Longoria and what the damage that he's done. He has 4 hits and 3 of them are home runs.
And you'll see these home runs with a slightly different approach from the old days where he used to hook everything. He's staying inside the ball. And this one right here, I mean, dead center field. Shows what type of player and what type of power he has.
So he walks Longoria, and that puts runners on first and second. Still 1 man out. Let's check out the Yankee defense here in the first inning behind Nova. You've got Almonte in left, Gardner in center, and Ichiro over in right. Infield, it's Adams, Nix, Cano, and Overbay third to first. Chris Stewart is behind the plate. Ivan Nova is on the mound. Here's James Loney.
Every once in a while, organizations just pick up guys over the offseason and they just become, you know, just pleasant surprises. And Loney goes right into that mold. He's hit the ball well. He's had a good, solid year.
It looks like he hits into a double play.
Doesn't even wait for me to tell him how good he is. He hits into a double play.
1-6-3. You can tell that story a little bit later on. Rays score a run. Rays 1 and the Yankees coming to bat. Chris Archer, and here's the Yankee starting lineup that he's going to face, and it's presented by Lexus. Greg Gardner in center will lead off, batting second, playing right field, Ichiro Suzuki. Robinson Cano, the second baseman, hits third. Cleaning up the DH, Travis Hafner. Lyle Overbay at first base will bat fifth. Batting sixth, playing left field, the switch hitter Zoilo Almonte. Jason Nix, the shortstop, bat seventh. The number 8 hitter is the third baseman David Adams. Chris Stewart will catch, and he's going to bat ninth.
We got another one of the Rays' bright prospects in the pitching ranks, and Chris Archer is it. You want to think about probably why they traded Shields and Wade Davis, because they knew they had guys like this waiting in the wings. And so far, been knocked around a little bit. 18 strikeouts, the 14 walks kind of jump out at you in 19 2/3 innings. Check out the pitcher scouting report brought to you by Tri Honda Dealers. 1-2 punch. He entered the 2013 season ranked number 2 prospect in the Rays system, right behind Will Myers, and we've gotten a look at him. Slider happy. He's thrown his slider 104 times this year. Just one hit allowed off of that pitch. That one hit was a game-winning home run by Daniel Nava. And elite heat, he's averaging about 95.2 on his fastball. It's slightly higher than Matt Harvey's of the Mets, slightly lower than Steven Strasburg.
Got the old-timer socks working, too. Look at that.
Love it. I don't know why people still don't wear the stirrups. I mean, I remember Bobby Mercer growing up. He wore the stirrups up high. It just looked great. Now, looks like you're wearing bell-bottoms. But not Chris Archer. That one is looped into left field. It is a base hit for Gardner. Johnson misplays the ball, and that allows Gardner to go to second. So a single and an E7. Now let's check out the defense.
Or lack of.
Or lack of for Tampa Bay. We've already seen Kelly Johnson, who gets an error in left field. And you've got Desmond Jennings in center and Will Myers over in right. Infield, it's Longoria, Escobar, Zobrist, and Loney third to first. Molina behind the plate. Archer is on the mound. All right, here is Ichiro Suzuki. Let's see if he bunts. We've seen the Yankees do this a lot. Shows bunt, takes high.
I'll tell you, this 1-2 punch so far seems to be really working. Gardner, Ichiro, seems to be setting the table. This lineup's still not an easy thing for Joe Girardi, day in and day out. Got to figure out certain things.
Bunted straight up in the air. Molina makes the play. So there's one away. Yankees baseball is available in Spanish by hitting the SAP button on your television. SAP is brought to you by Infinity.
Again, always keep the bat above the ball when you're bunting, and you see that Ichiro, oh, it's a horrible feeling as a hitter. Just trying to get the job done, and you see his reaction. But Ichiro, as soon as he just dropped the barrel, and it's like, ah, no, don't do that.
I say it all the time. Sounds like a broken record. You have a guy who's going to have 4,000 hits. There's a guy at second, and why would he bunt?
You know, I was looking at the way he squared around, Michael, and I was thinking exactly what you were thinking. I don't mind if it's more of a bunt for a hit,
right?
And in that case, he kind of waited till the last minute to square around. So with Ichiro's speed, it's not a true sacrifice, but it looked like you see his eyes. His eyes are going towards guiding that ball down third base. But late, kind of a little bit late. If he gets that down and gets going, that could be an in-betweener where it's more of a bunt for a hit as well as a sacrifice. I like the weapon, Michael, of a bunt for a hit more than I agree with you. I don't like to give up outs. You got a young pitcher on the mound, and Ichiro could pull the ball to the right side and get Gardner over as well. But
and also maybe get a bigger inning going rather than just one run. But we've seen a lot of it. It seems like the Yankees scratch for runs, so they bunt the first inning a lot.
You see Archer at 96, the inside corner. That's tough to turn on.
That's what Wells was throwing to you, right? During your at bat?
Yeah. He threw me the curveball just to try to embarrass me.
And you crushed it.
I didn't crush it. I got the barrel on it, though.
A little flashback. Look, oil can Boyd out there a little bit from this angle.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Fouled away. Let's take a look at Ichiro's bunt on Yes View.
Well, most of the times in Yes View, right before contact, good things are going to happen. But you see the barrel of the bat under the ball. That's bad things.
So the count 1-2 on Cano. Runner at second, 1 man out. Bottom of the first inning, Rays lead 1-0. Skied the other way into the seats.
I'll tell you what, Tony, that's an overpowering fastball in on the inner half, 95, 96. See, Robbie, these are tough at bats for your better hitters because, you know, the base is open. The pitcher's going to throw you his nastiest stuff, and if he walks you, he walks you. But he's been in on his hands his whole at bat.
Let's check out the game time weather presented by Bigelow Tea. 84 degrees, 53% humidity. The wind is 15 miles per hour. It's mostly sunny.
Coney, it's a little toasty on the field. What do you think? Huh?
It was. That old timers game maybe went 1 inning too long, possibly for some of us out there.
I've never seen a 5-inning old timers day. Amazing.
Tipping 100.
Great to see El Duque back today, though. First time. Wow, I was anxious to see him, talk to him. His English gotten better, Paulie.
A little bit.
That one gets away from Molina. So they get Gardner over to third. And you know that Archer's throwing hard, that Molina could not block that.
It's an overthrown fastball, but all of a sudden, I mean, you got to do a quick thing, a quick turnaround as a hitter because you know, before you got a guy on second base, you're in the hole. All of a sudden now, all you got to do is get the ball out of the infield. They're bringing the infield in. You've got to look for something you can get out of the infield, up in the air. You change your whole approach mentally of what needs to be done here.
Scored a wild pitch, allowing Gardner to move to third. The infield is in.
There's a little different sound down there now than it was earlier in the day, huh?
Yes.
During RBP. I mean, that ball was just hammered, but that's like a cut fastball or a slider right down and in.
.97 miles an hour. He's throwing so hard that Cano's having a hard time getting out of the way.
You can tell it's not comfortable. When guys are throwing in and they're throwing that hard, you're not going to sit there and
take a kneecap off, right?
Wait around to see if it's going to be close or if it's not going to be close. You're getting the heck out of the way.
Coming in on Cano.
Like I said, these are just tough at bats with that base open. It gives the pitcher so much, you know, you can just work on the guy and just try to throw perfect pitches. And nobody says a thing if you're walking because, you know, the base is open.
That's going to get a run in. Johnson back on the track at the wall. He makes the play. Tagging is Gardner. He'll score. We're tied at 1.
Well, that just looks like a sacrifice fly, but I tell you what, that's a great at bat. He just pounded him in with fastball, sliders. Molina finally went away. Robbie stayed on it. Did everything you want to do with a guy on third base. Kind of hung it a little bit, but know, you got a tendency when you're getting pounded in to open up. See how he stays on it just enough. Got in on him a little, but I tell you, great at bat, great job getting Gardner in from third.
And that Yes Mo brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealer.
I was looking at something the other day, Paul. You know, in that situation, in the American League this year, just 52% average. Runners on third base, less than 2 outs of success rate.
Yeah, you would think it'd be a lot higher. I mean, it doesn't. When everything's going well at the plate, it's not that tough to get a pitch where you can just hit a fly ball. You know,
almost a 50-50 proposition nowadays.
Count 1-0 to Hafner. Hafner waves through it. Top of the fourth inning in Toronto, and the Blue Jays lead the Orioles 9-0. Blue Jays can't lose. They are poised to sweep the Orioles. And Boston and Detroit 3-3, top of the third.
It just goes to show you. I mean, the Orioles are a solid team. They're a good team. They're a young team that's getting better. It's just when you're playing well, it just does not matter who you're playing. You win.
The 2-1. 3-1. After 2 for 13 in this series. Andy Pettitte, one of the Yankees that was sitting in the dugout during the introduction of the old timers. Derek Jeter was out there as well. Robinson Cano. Jason Nitz. There's a strike.
Pretty good exchange between Jeter and Rivera during the old timers game, where Mo was getting on Jeter about go out and play, go play that game, and Mo would shoot back at Jeter. Hey, at least I'm playing now, you know. So good-natured ribbing going back and forth.
I was on the first baseline, and Jeter was yelling at me to get Bernie's attention, so I did, thinking he had something important to tell him. All he wanted to do is tell him that he looked like he gained a little weight. I'm like, come on, Cheek, give the guy a break, man. It's old timers day. Told me he's going back to school and finish up. Loves the music, boy. He's into it.
That one is looped into right center field. He's going to dunk in for a base hit. Will Myers gets the ball in, so a 2-out single for Hafner.
Hafner early in this series has been pulling off everything. If he can stay through the ball a little bit longer, which he does there, fight it off, all of a sudden you start to get a little quicker, staying on the ball. You'll start driving some balls out of the park. But good swing by Hafner.
Here's Overbay. Lyle 6 hits in his last 18 at bats. That's a view from the Yankees club in right field. Check that left field. Places? I have not been to the Yankees club. No. Yeah. Looks like the place to be though. It's indoors. There's a strike. Home plate umpire is Alan Porter. Overbay has a 6-game hitting streak. And he has stepped up again when he had to, with Mark Teixeira going back on the DL. Grounded, right side, fielded there by Zobrist. and that'll do it. But the Yankees tied the score, 1 run on 2 hits, 1 error, and 1 man left. Gene Monahan spent 49 years at the Yankee organization. He's going to spend the next half inning with us. Classy a gentleman and as nice a man as Gene Monahan. Well, this tall left-hander, 49 years in the Yankee organization, and he joins us now here in the second inning. Gino, what's up?
This is a real thrill and a treat to be up here in your office instead of you down in mine.
You always wanted to be a broadcaster on Yes, so here's your chance. This is a tryout tape, Gene.
Forget it. It's too late.
What, you got stage fright up here, Gino?
No, I don't think I do. I thought I would, but I don't think so. I always thought I could do this, but now that I'm up here and see this in action, I'm better off down here.
Yeah.
Now, you with the Yankee organization so long, Gino, how cool is it to be involved in Old Timers Day and see so many of the players that you work with?
It's, you talk about it each year, and this is only my second Old Timers, but it's more than a thrill. It's a huge, huge family reunion is all it is. And getting together with these guys for a couple of days, a few evenings, and spending some yarns means the world to everybody, and everybody just feeds off each other, and it's just a wonderful thing they do here.
Now, you were a trainer for 7 of the Yankees' 27 World Championships. Do you have a favorite, as that one is tapped in front of the plate, and it's a foul ball? Do you have a favorite of the 7?
Not really. We had some great teams. As teams in the 90s, we had that big run. It was a lot of fun. It was neat under Mr. Torrey. Obviously, the first one is memorable. 77, Reggie hit the 3 homers, and we celebrated for real for the first time. But I have to say it was the last one, the 09. That's the one you remember most. And, of course, I'll never forget any of them. But the players were always great, and the organization always fed us wonderful people, and we had a great run.
2-2 count on Will Myers here in the top of the second inning. Nova deals, swing and a miss. Good pitch by Nova. Now this is Gino getting his ring in 2010 after the 09 championship. Big hug from Joe Girardi, and coming back from medical issues, and obviously very emotional as well, and a huge ovation from the crowd. That must have been a special day, Gene.
It certainly was a huge surprise. I'd gotten a letter to throw out the first ball from Mr. Steinbrenner, Hal Steinbrenner, and one thing led to another, and here we go. Actually, I think that was another year. But we went out to the first base area there and turned around, and nobody else was coming out. And there's Jorge clapping. And I thought, uh-oh, what are they doing to me here? So it was quite emotional, a little bit embarrassing, but I felt the love from every fan in the ballpark.
There's Kelly Johnson with a 1-1 count. That one's fouled away. Now, is it true? You hear rumors, Gino, so I'll ask you straight out. That O'Neill was the one player that annoyed you the most.
Worst patient of all time?
Well,
come on, Gino, sugarcoat it now. I'm sitting right here.
I'm going to give you my best shot with this. That's a surprise question. He was one of the hardest-nosed warriors. I'll preface with that.
Right. Keep it coming, Gino. That's good stuff there.
On a scale of 1 to 10, the pain threshold was 0.6.
0.6.
0.6?
Way down there.
Wow, so he's in the room a lot.
Those foul balls off the ankles really were devastating.
I'll tell you, I learned as my career got older, if you were hurt, don't go in Gino's office.
Why?
Because the next thing he would be talking to Joe Torre, and the next thing you were getting the night off. So I'd walk in, Gino would say, how you feel? Great. Absolutely perfect. And then wait till he leaves, and Stevie would help you out with stuff.
There you go.
Now, how was Coney's pain threshold?
Coney was a 9.
A 9?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember the night in Kansas City, he dislocated his shoulder.
Right.
And we're walking upstairs to try to get this thing back in for him. We got the doctor coming over, and he's on the table, and he wouldn't let me touch him. He said, just stay away from me. I love you dearly, but just stay away from me. Just don't hold me down. Don't do anything. So we got him a little bit calmed down. We got him straightened out. And quick healer. Came back fast.
Who was the 10 that you worked on?
Let's see. Who was a 10 that I worked on? I mean, 10s are hard. It's like the ladies. There aren't too many 10s out
there. Even if you add them all together, the whole locker room, huh?
What are you doing now, Gino? What are you up to now?
Well, I call myself retired, but it's more semi. I got recruited down in North Carolina where I live. I went down there because of the climate and the folks and the way of life, and I wanted to get a house that I could afford and work on. And it's a beautiful place to live, and it's racing territory. It's NASCAR, and Mr. Hendrick with Hendrick Motorsports, they recruited me, and I'm working with the pit crew guys, keeping them healthy.
Very cool.
It's very good. It gets me out of the house 3 days a week, and it's enjoyable. They're great young athletes, very appreciative.
Do you still follow your Yankees?
Certainly do. When they're on the coast, I've got the phone right in the bed with me, and I text in every hour, so I wake myself up. It was fun the other night with that 18-inning game.
Oh, that was good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I saw every one of those, Mike.
Molina with a fly ball to right field. Ichiro backpedals, turns, and will have the plate on a hop off the wall, and Molina gets a single out of that.
But, you retired from the Yankees, and when players retire, everybody asks, what are you going to miss about the game, this and that, and it's always, the competition and the camaraderie. In your sense, it's got to be the camaraderie and just the people that you've met over the years.
Yeah, it is. It is. Somebody in the dugout said today, boy, you've had a blessed life, because I had to stop right there. It's no kidding. Look at all the wonderful friends and family members that they really are, and just hugs and embraces from everybody for the last couple of days. That's probably the biggest thing I miss, and I miss the first pitch of the game. I miss that. I love the ball games. I love the competition. If you didn't, you were in the wrong business. So that worked out well. The passion for the game is what got me here from a little hometown in South Florida, and it all worked out. And I'm just so blessed and appreciative to everybody for all their support.
Escobar hits a deep drive to center. Gardner backing up, makes the play. Gino, it's great to see you. You're the best.
Well, I can tell all the guys, it's great for me to see anybody. I'm very happy to be here.
That's Gene Monahan, one of the all-time greats. We go to the bottom of the second inning. It's 1-1. And here's how we started today's conversation. Who have been some of your favorite old-timers to watch through the years and why? And Ernie Capadino said, my favorite Yankee of all time has to be Yogi Berra. He was an incredible player, and his Yogi-isms will be remembered forever. Follow Yes Network and tweet us your responses using hashtag YankeesPrius to keep the conversation going. Yankees Magazine, pretty cool cover for Old Timers Day. Mo and Yogi as we go to the bottom of the second. Zoilo Almonte will lead off. Certainly not an old-timer. In fact, he's a rookie. Archer threw 24 pitches in the first inning. And he deals to Almonte high.
Which is nothing new. I looked at Archer's in the past couple of games. Fourth inning, 103 pitches. Fourth inning, 105 pitches. Guy that just does not have control of the strike zone with unbelievable stuff. It just can't hone it in yet.
The things you learn on a broadcast, every broadcast you want to learn something. And we learned from Gene Monahan that David Cohn's pain threshold on a 1 to 10 scale is a 9. And we incredibly learned that yours was a 0.6.
It's terrible. Just because I like to scream and yell at him, that's all.
That was payback.
Dogged me.
He made you. He's been waiting for that opportunity to get you back.
Terrible.
Grounded to first. Loney is there, and he beats Almonte to the bag for the first out.
We were in Milwaukee one time, and I had fouled a ball off my shin. And Mr. Steinbrenner found out and said he wanted me to wear a shin guard. Well, the first time up, I had the shin guard on, and I didn't get a hit. So, that had to be the answer. So you start thinking a little crazy. And so the next time up, I didn't get a hit. Well, Mr. Steinbrenner called Gino. Well, Gino comes by me. He's like, you got to wear that shin guard. I said, Gino, I'm not wearing the shin guard. I'm not wearing it, all right? And he's like, you got to wear it. I'm going to lose my job. I said, all right, Gino, I'll wear the shin guard then. So I got a hit. So we were out.
There's a
so then I wore it for about 6 years in a row.
Yeah, you had it on for a while.
But that's Stevie's forte there. He used to do that for me in spring training every year. String up the glove, take the padding out.
Why'd you take the padding?
In the heel of the glove, there's padding. And, they put that padding there so it doesn't...
mixes out.
It doesn't sting your hand, but it also kind of pops the ball out of your glove. So I'd much rather have my hand, hurting a little bit than make an error. So he would just take the padding right in Snoopy's glove right here. You take the padding out of Snoopy's glove, and it just gives you a little deeper pocket. You don't miss as much.
Well, learning a lot today.
See that?
Pancake style, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
There's David Adams. Adams has won for his last 10.
Well, I'll say this about Gene Monahan. A lot of people want to know all the old George Steinbrenner stories. Who doesn't want to know George Steinbrenner stories? He's got more of them than anyone. He was here in the 70s. He saw the 70s version, and he saw the 90s version. And they were two different versions, really.
Right. One thing that never stopped, though, was his will to win. I mean, he wanted to win. He didn't take care. He didn't want any excuses. He put the best team out there with a vision of winning.
David Adams with a slow ground ball short. Escobar fields and gets Adams for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. We're going to the third. It's a 1-1 game here on Yes. game. Ivan Nova, first 49 starts of his big league career, 26-6 with an ERA under 4. His last 17 starts, 4-7 with an ERA